Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the KPC podcast. My name is Karsan Turner.
And I'm Hannah Thurman.
And today we have a couple stories we're going to talk about. We have an update on the Jussie Smollett case, and then there's a new update on Bumpstocks. Hannah's going to go ahead and
we're going to start it off
the first story
with discussing the Trump administration's, in my opinion, the best thing that they have done so far.
Ooh.
So after the 2017 Las Vegas attacks and then the Parkland shooting that followed months afterwards, the Trump administration came out and said that they are going to ban bump stocks. And so bump stocks are, for anyone that doesn't know, basically something. It's like an add-on to a gun, and it makes it a machine gun.
Yeah, it's like a spring.
Yeah.
You add it to the stock, and then every time you pull the trigger, the recoil triggers, and then it will just basically have to go like this, and it will just keep going. Yeah, shooting.
Yeah, so that was a surprise that the Trump administration went out and took steps towards
getting rid of the bump stocks.
I never thought that would have happened. So applaud to them, in my opinion, because it's something that, honestly, I mean, it's not taking steps back on the Second Amendment, in my opinion. This is all.
Yeah.
It's not saying like everyone needs to give their guns up. It's bump stocks. They're not really necessary for hunting.
Right.
If you have a handgun in your home, you don't need a bump stock for it, for an intruder or anything. Like if you want to protect yourself, you don't necessarily need a bump stock.
Well, if you have a stock on your handgun in the first place,
I don't even know if that's I don't know. I don't know anything about guns. But so. Recently, so that effect went on Tuesday. So gun owners had, I think, 90 days to turn in their bump stocks or destroy them, which I doubt a lot of people did, but some 500,000 firearm bump stocks were owned by hundreds of thousands of people. So if they don't turn those in, it's a felony prosecution. And you can seek penalties up for 10 years of imprisonment and a $250,000 fine. So, like I said, this went into effect on Tuesday. And now, yesterday, the Supreme Court said that they would not, because obviously people are suing, the government, they're suing the Trump administration, suing the Attorney General. And so the Supreme Court denied the request to hear the case yesterday. So looks like this is here to stay. What are your thoughts on this?
I know one of the points of contention about bump stocks is that if you can't buy one at the store, you can make one very easily. You really just need a spring. And so trying to legislate something like that would be something to kind of get around. But starting with banning commercially produced bump stocks is probably what I assume the legislation proposes, and that's probably a step in the right direction, because based on what I understand, if you want to buy a semi-automatic rifle versus buying a fully automatic rifle, two completely different things, and I could be wrong on this, but the fully automatic rifles are kind of like military grade, and they're very, very hard to get. I mean, I think I remember, and this, don't quote me on this, this is like from the Vegas shooting, so I think I remember hearing someone say it could take up to 20 years for you to have the proper license to, own a fully automatic weapon. So, this one attachment that basically hacks your gun to
become instant.
Essentially fully automatic. That, I could see how that's very problematic. And so I think banning them from the commercial production and making it a felony is definitely a step in the right direction.
And I applaud the Trump administration for doing this. Honestly, I'm really happy that they did, and it's awesome because this is great, I think. And I mean, if you think the Obama administration didn't necessarily, I mean, like a Democratic president didn't get anything through on this, and this was when the Republicans held the House. I don't know if it was an executive order or not. I guess it was the Justice Department that ruled it, but
I mean, not to point fingers at the Obama administration, but I think they had two big shootings. It was Sandy Hook,
there was
and then
Oregon,
the Colorado shooting
in Oregon, or the college in is it Oregon or Oregon?
Oregon,
yeah.
I think, and then those are the two big. So it's like two big calls to action to kind of. But I guess the bump stock wasn't really used in those shootings.
I'm not sure. I mean, we'd have to look at it, but I mean, still give credit where credit is due.
And speaking about giving credit where credit is due, someone has to pay their dues. A little actor named named Jussie Smollett, he was not paying his dues, or he potentially has to owe $130,000 to the Chicago Police Department for staging his hate crime. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. He was an investigation by the Chicago police. Basically, they bent over backwards to ensure they would find out who these two people who tried to, what was it called, a modern-day lynching on Jussie Smollett. Turns out he paid two actors with a check. Not even cash. That's so stupid.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, so he gave his two workout buddies a check, and they staged like beating him up, and it was a big thing. I'm sure everyone already knows about this, and there were some headlines and updates on the story earlier this week that were kind of misleading, and I think the first thing I heard was that the charges were dropped on Smollett, and I have an article from CNN that kind of clarifies that, saying that Jussie Smollett, the prosecutor, misled the public about dropped felony charges. And based off of what I got from the article, it's like small charges were dropped, but not like the felony, like, you know, staging the hate crime. It wasn't like he was off the hook for that.
Yeah.
And there was
that's definitely what I thought. I mean, I was like, how could this, like, why they didn't give it a reason behind it, but it's good to have clarification.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what the, what the two brothers, like what their case. I think they're trying to sue someone, or I have no idea. But yeah, there's I don't even know if they're in trouble for it, but who knows? And I also saw this article from TMZ, so really take it for what it's worth, which is a grain of salt. That he owes $130,000 in overtime that was required by the police department to investigate the alleged attack, and I guess according to this article, it's saying he could have to pay up to 3 times that amount. But whenever you're under some investigation similar to this, you like your bank account could be like barred from receiving income. So it's like he would have to pay it with what he has right now, and no one really knows what he has right now. But I guess Michelle Obama, like, I think she paid the charges that had him dropped. So I wouldn't be surprised if, the Obama administration the Obama trust fund just comes in and, saves him from his charges. Yeah. So that's what initially got him off the hook. So I don't know. We'll still see. It's at this point, I don't really care because the initial story has already been told, and now it's all just like this aftermath cleanup, which I don't know. What do you think about the...
I mean, I just kind of scroll through the headlines now with this. Like, at first, it's like, it really, like, brought you in, and you're like, whoa. Like, he staged this? This is crazy. But now it's just like, whatever, like, this shouldn't have happened. I can't believe that he paid with a check. What was he thinking? Yeah, and
the too good to be true. I think now there needs to be like a bingo card that's like, was it staged? And you just like mark these off.
Right,
like, Yeah, and I feel like I had something else to say, but I forgot what it was, so I don't know. But what was it? I don't remember.
That's okay.
But I think that's all we have. That's all the time we have for today. Unless you had anything else to say.
No, today's short and sweet. We're both tired, and the rain and gloomy weather is getting to us.
Yeah, I was going to say wasn't there an update on the Mueller investigation? There was another no collusion thing.
Oh, yes.
And I knew it was serious because Rachel Maddow was crying on her show last night. Not last night, last week.
Doesn't she?
Yeah, she cries all the time. I don't know what her problem is, but who knows? So that's all the news we have for today. Be sure to stay tuned for next week for our next episode of the KPC podcast. Other than that, I'm Karsan Turner.
And I'm Hannah Thurman.
And we'll see you next week.